We have Grandmaster Samuel Shankland on our screen taking on Daniil Dubov in the fifth round of the FIDE World Cup 2025. This is the first game. Daniil has the black pieces, and as has been the routine at this World Cup, when Daniil has the black pieces, games tend to get more exciting and interesting because he does get more ambitious at that point when his opponent also gets ambitious. But when he has the black pieces, when he has the white pieces, Daniil is usually very solid and doesn't go for much. So e4, e5 is on the board. Sam has had a tremendous event here. He's beaten Vidit Gujarati, he's beaten Richard Rapport, and now he's playing Daniil Dubov, another world-class player. Knight to c6 played by Daniil. Bishop goes to b5. We have the Ruy Lopez on the board. And now pawn to a6, attacking the bishop on b5. The bishop drops back to a4. And now knight to f6 played. The knight attacks the pawn in the center. White castles. And you go bishop to e7. So Dubov playing the same line that he played against Pragnananda in their classical encounter, where he got a great position with black pieces, that is in the martial attack in the Ruy Lopez. Black castles here, and now Prag had played the move c3, which led to d5, but Sam goes for a4. And now you can push your pawn down to b4. You can also play rook b8, but Daniil prefers to go bishop b7, which is also a very normal move. Shankland now plays pawn to d3, just defending his pawn there, and pawn to d6 played by black. He plays a knight to a3, attacking the pawn on b5. And you have queen to d7. The idea of this move is to take and take here, but the rook on a1 remains undefended, so c4 played here. And while Daniil could have pushed his pawn to b4, he decides to play knight a5. Now pawn takes pawn played by Sam. You can pick up the bishop now. I think that's important. He takes it. Queen takes b3, and Dubov takes a takes b5 here. C takes on b5, and you will see that white has won a pawn. But look at this move by Daniil Dubov. He gives up another pawn, and Shankland is at 135. He takes the pawn in the center, knight takes on e5, and the position has gotten very sharp now. Queen e6, attacking the knight. Maybe ed5 is good, also d4 looks pretty good, but knight to f3 played here by Shankland. Black takes, d takes e4. Queen takes e6. Fe6 taken here. You have pawn takes pawn. And now knight takes on e4. So the bishop comes to e3, improving the position of the bishop, and you have bishop to d5 right into the center of the board. Rook a to c1, and Dubov plays bishop to b4, improves the position of the bishop here. Rook takes on c7, and he's given up a full exchange here. Dubov takes bishop takes on e1. So Sam has played this very interestingly. He now has a passer here and a rook on the 7th. Dubov says, I'll trade the final rook now. And I think it's important perhaps to just come back. But Sam goes b6. And he's just ready to go knight to d6 here. Knight comes to d3. And he's looking at e5 square, c5 square. Rook takes on c7. B takes c7 taken. The pawn is about to queen. And we have knight to c4. So the knights can get traded here. He takes. And well, there's no back rank made, by the way, guys, because rook a1, you can just go bishop c1 and white wins. So bishop c4, knight comes back to e1 and e5 played. If you see this position, white's pawn on c7 is a monster. Has 2 pawns and a knight for a rook. King comes to f7, improving the position of the king. Knight to f3, attacking the pawn on e5. King e6. And we have b4. So the idea of this move is to push b5, b6. King comes to d6. And we have bishop to b6. So if you see, very beautifully done by Sam, because if king c6, you can put your bishop on a5. So this protects this protects this. Everything is protected. But here's something that black can do now. Because everything is on dark squares, you can put your bishop on b7 or king on d7. So the c pawn is taken care of. And then you use your rook to get active. And now you can see how the bishop dominates the knight. Bishop a5, taking away the a file. King d7, so he gets the pawn defended here. King f1. And now you can activate your rook. He activates it this way. Very cool. Rook can go to c6, king e2. And the rook comes to c6. So king comes to d2. And we have king to c8. Well, white starts pushing the pawns on the king side, but this can get very dangerous now for white. g4 played. And Daniil comes in, rook to c4. He goes f3. And now just bishop to b7. He goes bishop b1. And h5 played here. Just gaining space on the king side. King to b7. And we have king to e3 played. The rook comes to c3 with a check. And king f2. e4, he breaks in the center here. What a move there by Daniil. And now maybe very important to push b5, b6 here. Just be very careful. He goes f4 and now e3 check. Very, very strong move. Because after king moves away, let's say king e2, you can go bishop a2, bishop check here. It's winning for Daniil Dubov. Just push the e pawn. Just push the e pawn, Daniil. No, he goes bishop e2. He blunders here. He just misses the fact that e3 now can be stopped. And look at Sam there. He goes f5. No, he doesn't stop it. He doesn't stop it at all. e3. Come on, Daniil. e3. If the king moves to f3, bishop d5 check. If king e2, there's bishop c4 check. Everything looks great. But he goes bishop c4 straight away here instead of e3. And now comes this very nice move, bishop b6, if it's possible to play. Because it stops e3, and look at there, Sam about to find it. Bishop b6 finds it. Bishop b6 is on the board, stopping pawn to e3. He goes bishop d5, bishop to d4. And now he gives back the pawn with e3. Bishop takes e3. The point is that if you played here, then knight g2, maybe white pieces get improved. So with e3, bishop e3, rook c4, he's able to win the b4 pawn now. Daniil instead takes the pawn on c7. Bit of surprise there for all that he had done. b5, now he's able to actually keep the b pawn. King comes to d6. b6 pawn push. And we have rook to c3. Just pinning the bishop here to the king. And king f4. We have another check. King g5. h6 check. And we have king h4 played. So the bishop moves in, and the idea is to take here. He comes back king g3, and now rook to b4. Jump knight to f3 check, knight to f3 played, and he takes. King takes on f3. Even though now everything simplified, yet the position is drawn because there's not enough material on the board. Play for a win. White has 2 pawns, and that's a very cheeky move here, because if rook takes b6, I have check and I win this pawn. So Dubov goes check. And it's a draw after bishop e3. So the game ends in a draw. Daniil Dubov can be a bit upset with himself that he had a chance there to win. Sam Shankland can be a bit upset with himself that he got a very good position out of the opening but couldn't really convert. Now with Dubov having the white pieces, it's quite likely that the match goes into tie breaks. So with the white pieces, it's very unlikely that Dubov will try too hard. And this will be a very, very exciting match to follow. I hope you follow it. For now, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye-bye.